The 1960s found Britain's motor industry riding a strange wave, post-war austerity finally lifting, exports booming, and a genuine burst of design confidence colliding with an industry still cobbled together from pre-war factories and fiercely independent brands. Out of that collision came a run of cars so instantly recognizable that some of them barely need their names said aloud. There's a story at number 1 involving a rally stage in the Alps and a company that badly needed the publicity. This is the countdown. Number 10, Austin Healey 3000, 1959 to 1967. A muscular British roadster, built for speed and, unofficially, for enduring almost anything. Manufactured by the Austin Healey partnership at Longbridge and Abingdon, the Big Healey ran through the 1960s fitted with a 2.9-liter inline-six engine producing 124 to 148 brake horsepower depending on marque, giving a top speed of around 114 miles per hour. It became a fixture of British rallying and was widely exported to the United States, where it sold in large numbers. Donald Healey's small firm had already built a reputation for tough, characterful sports cars, and pairing that with Austin's mainstream engine supply and dealer network gave buyers genuine performance without the price tag of an Aston Martin or Jaguar. The unexpected fact: the Big Healey's bodywork offered so little weather protection that rally crews reportedly resorted to taping cardboard and plastic sheeting around the cockpit in freezing European stages, turning a factory-backed rally car into something closer to a well-engineered tent on wheels. A car built for endurance sometimes needed a little help enduring its own design. Number 9, Triumph Spitfire, 1962. A small, pretty sports car with a rear suspension that had its own ideas. Built by Triumph at Canley, Coventry, the Spitfire launched in 1962 with an 1,147 cubic centimeters four-cylinder engine producing 63 brake horsepower, reaching a top speed of roughly 92 miles per hour. It became one of Britain's best-selling small sports cars through the decade, popular with younger drivers and exported widely to the US. Triumph needed an affordable rival to the MG Midget, and basing the Spitfire on the humble Herald Saloon's chassis kept development costs low, while Giovanni Michelotti's styling made it look far more expensive than it was. The unexpected fact: the Spitfire's swing-axle rear suspension, inherited from the Herald, could cause sudden and dramatic oversteer if pushed hard into a corner, a trait period road testers noted with polite understatement. A car built to feel playful occasionally played a little rougher than intended. Number 8, Ford Cortina MK1, 1962. The everyman's car that quietly outsold everything else on the road. Manufactured by Ford at Dagenham, the Cortina MK1 ran from 1962 to 1966 with 1.2 to 1.5-liter four-cylinder engines producing 48 to 78 brake horsepower, with a top speed of around 85 to 96 miles per hour depending on trim. Police forces across Britain adopted it for traffic patrol duties, and it became one of the decade's best-selling cars outright. Ford's simple, low-cost engineering and enormous dealer network made the Cortina cheap to buy, cheap to run, and easy to repair anywhere in the country, an unbeatable formula for both private buyers and fleet managers. The unexpected fact: the Cortina's lightweight construction, designed deliberately to cut costs, made it notably prone to rust around the wheel arches and sills within just a few years of ownership, a flaw shared by much of the era's budget-conscious British engineering. A car built to be affordable to buy became, eventually, expensive to keep. Number 7, Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud 3, 1962. Effortless British luxury, one careful owner and several careful mechanics required. Built by Rolls-Royce and crew, the Silver Cloud 3 was produced from 1962 to 1966 with a 6.2-liter V8 engine, output never officially quoted beyond sufficient, giving a top speed of around 116 miles per hour. It remained the preferred car of diplomats, aristocracy, and heads of state throughout the decade. Rolls-Royce's reputation for silence and hand-finished craftsmanship was unmatched anywhere in the world, and the Silver Cloud 3's twin headlamp update modernized the look without touching the formula that had made the marque famous. The unexpected fact: the car's complex hydraulic systems and hand-assembled coachwork meant even routine servicing required Rolls-Royce trained specialists, and full workshop manuals were, for years, deliberately withheld from independent garages. A car built for effortless ownership was, by design, never meant to be owned quite that independently. Number 6, Land Rover Series IIA, 1961. Farmyard workhorse, army staple, and reluctant fashion statement. Manufactured by Land Rover in Solihull, the Series IIA ran from 1961 to 1971, offered with 2.25-liter petrol and diesel four-cylinder engines producing 70 to 77 brake horsepower, with a top speed of around 65 miles per hour. It served the British Army, countless police forces, and farms across the world, prized above all for its ability to keep running almost anywhere. Land Rover's aluminium bodywork resisted rust in a way steel-bodied rivals couldn't, and the simple, reparable mechanicals meant a farmer or soldier with basic tools could fix most problems in the field without waiting for a dealership. The unexpected fact: that same aluminium bodywork was originally chosen not for its rust resistance but because post-war Britain faced a severe steel shortage, and surplus aircraft-grade aluminium was, briefly, easier to source. A vehicle now celebrated for tough material science was really a clever solution to a supply problem. Number 5. Lotus Elan, 1962. Featherweight, razor-sharp, and occasionally held together by fiberglass and optimism. Built by Lotus in Cheshunt, Hertfordshire, the Elan launched in 1962 with a 1.6-liter twin-cam four-cylinder engine producing 105 to 126 brake horsepower, giving a top speed of around 115 to 121 miles per hour depending on tune. Its backbone chassis and fiberglass body gave it a power-to-weight ratio few rivals could match at any price. Colin Chapman's philosophy of adding lightness meant the Elan could outhandle far more powerful cars, and Lotus's growing racing pedigree lent instant credibility to a small, independent sports car maker. The unexpected fact: early Elans suffered from a design flaw in their pop-up headlight vacuum system, which could fail intermittently and leave a driver with one headlight up and one stubbornly down, a quirk owners nicknamed winking. A car engineered for precision occasionally couldn't quite keep its own face straight. Number 4. MGB, 1962. Britain's sports car for the masses, exported by the shipload. Manufactured by MG at Abingdon, the MGB launched in 1962 with a 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine producing 95 brake horsepower, reaching a top speed of around 105 miles per hour. It became one of the best-selling sports cars in history, with the vast majority of production shipped straight to the United States. MG's pre-war sports car reputation, combined with a modern monocoque chassis and simple, easily serviced mechanicals, made the MGB an ideal blend of everyday usability and genuine driving fun, exactly what American buyers wanted from a British roadster. The unexpected fact: the MGB's chrome bumpers and simple electrics, while charming, meant it offered almost none of the crash protection being mandated in the US by the decade's end, quietly setting up the awkward rubber bumper redesign that would follow in the 1970s. A car built for open road charm was already living on borrowed regulatory time. Number 3. Jaguar Mark II, 1960. Elegant enough for a bishop, quick enough for a bank robber, and British police forces knew it. Asterisk. Built by Jaguar in Coventry, the Mark II ran from 1959 into the mid-1960s, offered with 2.4, 3.4, and 3.8-liter inline-six engines producing 120 to 220 brake horsepower, with the 3.8-liter version reaching a genuine 125 miles per hour. Numerous British police forces adopted the 3.8-liter model specifically because it could outrun almost anything else on the road at the time. Jaguar's racing-derived engines and elegant Italian-influenced styling gave forces a car fast enough to catch getaway drivers using the same model, while its relatively modest price made it achievable for constabulary budgets that Bentleys and Aston Martins never would be. The unexpected fact: that very desirability meant the Mark II became, notoriously, one of the most frequently stolen cars in Britain during the era, occasionally by the very type of criminal the police version had been bought to outpace. A car built to help catch thieves became, rather often, exactly what thieves wanted to catch. Number 2. Aston Martin DB5, 1963. A hand-built Grand Tourer that became, almost by accident, the most famous car in the world. Manufactured by Aston Martin in Newport Pagnell, the DB5 launched in 1963 with a 4.0-liter inline-six producing 282 brake horsepower, reaching a top speed of around 143 miles per hour. Fewer than 900 were built during its short production run, yet it became instantly recognizable worldwide after its 1964 film debut alongside gadgets, ejector seats, and a certain fictional secret agent. Aston Martin had spent a decade quietly building a reputation among wealthy enthusiasts and racing drivers, and the DB5 represented the refined peak of that work. Exactly the kind of glamorous, expensive machine a film production searching for the perfect spy car would want to borrow. The unexpected fact: Aston Martin's tiny production capacity meant the film's gadget-laden hero car was, for years, essentially a one-off prop, and the company struggled for decades afterward to keep pace with the global demand its own most famous export had created. A car built in the hundreds became famous enough for millions. Number 1. Mini Cooper S, 1963. A tiny, cheap city car that went and won rallies against cars 10 times its price. Manufactured by the British Motor Corporation at Longbridge and Cowley, the Mini Cooper S launched in 1963 with a 1,071 cubic centimeters, later 970 cubic centimeters and 1,275 cubic centimeters, four-cylinder engine producing 70 to 76 brake horsepower, reaching a top speed of around 97 miles per hour. Modest figures that undersell what the car actually did on track and stage. The original Mini itself, on which it was based, had launched in 1959 and gone on to sell in the millions across Britain and abroad. Alec Isagonis's transverse engine, front-wheel drive layout had already made the standard Mini a practical, spacious small car well ahead of its rivals, and John Cooper's tuning expertise turned that same lightweight package into something genuinely capable of embarrassing much larger machinery on a rally stage. The unexpected fact carries real weight here. BMC, struggling against skeptical export markets and an aging corporate image, leaned heavily on the Cooper S's string of Monte Carlo rally results through the mid-1960s to prove British engineering could still win on the world stage. Publicity that arguably did more for BMC's international reputation, and its Mini sales figures specifically, than any advertising campaign the company could otherwise have afforded. A car designed to be cheap and small ended up quietly rescuing the export credibility of the entire company that built it. Britain's 1960s motor industry worked within tight material shortages, awkward corporate mergers, and factories often decades older than their competitors abroad, and yet, inside those constraints, its designers and engineers produced cars that defined not just a decade but, for several of them, an entire idea of what a British car could be. None of it was inevitable, and much of it happened because someone, somewhere, refused to settle for the obvious solution. Which of these surprised you most? Tell us below.